This is really the best part. We get to rummage through and see what the previous owner left behind, and I get to take you guys along with me while we see what got left below. Despite not looking like much, the Mark III Generation GTI is probably gonna go down as the best GTI ever. Long before the buttonless environment and computer intervention era, the Mark III GTI provided a much different driving experience. This is also part of the mid-90s era of Volkswagen, where Volkswagen was actually cool. From you can't trust the old lady commercials to over 25 different models of the Mark III, it was a whole different ballgame back then. From the 97 Driver's Edition in Ginster Yellow and Jazz Blue, to the super rare Harlequin, the European Tour editions, and for me personally, the Mark III will always have a special place because, like many of you, my first VW was a Mark III in the form of a 96 Cabrio I bought for $400. You may also remember the VR6 Turbo that we built a while back. Now, I was able to trade for this car, so it feels pretty awesome to have another Mark III back in the shop. And I haven't done anything to it short of driving it into the shop, which means it runs and it drives. So I gotta know, what do you guys think a Mark III GTI VR6 5-speed with 91K in probably a pretty rare color of Windsor blue is worth? Let me know down in the comments.
The major issues with this GTI are overheating and coolant leak, which are probably 100% related.
Really, the thing I'm most excited about is to go through this car with you guys because it's going to be an adventure of discovery to see what kind of crazy stuff we're finding. There's a lot of boxes in the back. We might find some good stuff. Hopefully it's all like PG-13-ish. I think we should start with the coolant problem. Now, the VR6 is generally a pretty good engine, so I was kind of surprised about the overheating issue, but the car is mega old, 25 years old. Shouldn't be a surprise that it has some problems. Let's get a light on it and see what we got. So our first step is gonna be just to put some water in it and see if we have a real obvious leak. I don't wanna waste a bunch of coolant. I've seen a handful of things where I'm like, ooh, that's not supposed to be that way. So we'll also go through some of that stuff, and I'll point out some common issues as well as, some specific to this vehicle issues. Ew. Yeah, it's not supposed to look like that. Yeah, look at all that icky. It's so icky. It's like plastic. Ew, is there a dead frog? It looks like a dead frog. Gross. I think before we load up a bunch of water in there, let's see if we can get whatever that giant thing is. All right, so there's some plastic of some kind. Clearly, our cooling system's gonna need to be flushitated. That's not supposed to be like that. Let's put some water in. There was no coolant in it. The bottle is totally empty anyway. I hear it leaking. We're gonna go up real quick and see why it's gushering out, or where from it's gushering, I should say. Okay, so it's coming from above the cooler. There it is. But I'm not sure if it's the hose to the cooler. It's so congested up there. We clearly found our coolant leak. That hose off of the oil cooler seems to be ruptured, so honestly, not a terrible fix. Getting to it is a bit of a challenge, and unfortunately, that wasn't one included in the blue hose kit, but at least we know for sure that we found one problem. What we need to do, though, is we need to get this car back down and evaluate the rest of what's going on under the hood. Starting with the driver's side, we got this free bottle of engine oil. That's pretty awesome. You'll notice all of this orange all over here. That's generally from coolant, so that's kind of my guess. We had a severe coolant leak, spray coolant all over the place on this side. Talked about our aftermarket hoses. You know, we're missing some little knick-knacky stuff like this, which is not a big deal. But what I'm noticing very quickly is this right here. This looks like speaker wire. That is definitely speaker wire that we have going across. So this is our strut tower brace right here, flexible strut tower brace. On that end of discovery, look what I found. The classic Home Depot Motorsports heater core bypass. That's probably why all this orange is all over the place here from that bypass. Overall, it's not bad. You know, I get asked all the time, what's the most common things on these older generation cars? And typically, it's bad repairs. We got an aftermarket intake here. This is blocked off. So we have our air filter, and you'll notice there's this little takeout food tray that's got a bunch of oil in it. That's because we've eliminated that little valve that goes right here to prevent liquid oil from backtracking. So this air filter is most likely saturated in engine oil. Our tensioner is broken right there. You can see we won't be able to thread a bolt in. That should be fun getting the belt off. This engine did allegedly have timing chains done at some point. Looks like a bunch of zip ties down there holding the shifter cables. We have this vacuum line not attached to anything. Also always worth checking for paint work by the bolts for the fenders having been turned, witness marks of being moving. This whole core support comes off pretty easy, so these being taken off, common. These here, not common. And I'm guessing if we were to put some work in, we could make this engine compartment look really nice. And the best part, so far, no signs of rust. Our fan belt is still attached. I did notice when I drove it in, we had some noise coming from the serpentine belt circuit. Probably one of these rollers is just smoked. Alternator, tensioner, water pump, power steering pump, or AC compressor. I'm also noticing no oil here at the valve cover, or like a little bit, but follow it down. There's a bunch of oil right here, as well as more of that orangey copper. My guess is this head gasket's leaking. Now, traditionally, head gasket leakage on Volkswagens is not very common, but these VR6s were like a fiber head gasket, and they were known to leak. Now, that may be because it ran real hot and overheated, but it might just be a product of having a bad head gasket. In addition to our flexible strut tower speaker wire brace, we also have some speaker wire ground strapping right here on the hood because the factory ground strap's broken. Looks like our windshield's broken too, but I'm gonna guess it's a factory windshield because it does have a VW logo on it, which is kind of cool. Also, like, clearly this paint needs some help. I mean, our clear coat is coming off. Minus a coolant leak and maybe a head gasket leaking, our engine compartment is in pretty okay shape. Let's get the car up in the air and look at it underneath. We'll look at our bumper here real quick too. You can see someone did some drive-by feel. Broken. The whole thing's broken. Broken. Grills. Looks like we got a broken CV boot. Ooh, another broken CV boot. Right there, that looks like it's been broken for a while. Here's our coolant leak. Got a whole bunch of oil. Not as bad as you normally see from the filter. Hey, look at this. We got a new speed power pulley for all the horsepowers. Our axle here is not tight. There's one bolt loose. I'm assuming there'll be more. Maybe just that one. Maybe I forgot it to get tightened. Come over here to our suspension. Oh, look at that. Look at that guy right there. That's a bad news tie rod end. Normally you don't see it that exposed. There's a spider back there. Another probably broken CV boot, yep. Worn out sway bar end link. And it's probably no surprise that all of the bushings are pretty much worn out. Smoked heat shield. What is that? Oh, it's an oxygen sensor tool. Yeah, just a little rusty. That's all right. Get off there. All right. Free tool. Dropped it. Let's see. Can we see who makes it? Another big thing that you really want to look at on these cars is going to be pinch welds. So we're looking for them to be crushed, and we're looking for rust. That is what a crushed pinch weld looks like. If we follow it back, see, this is what it should look like. Someone tried to jack the car up right there. And then this piece is reinforced. This is actually the jack point. This looks pretty good, really. I mean, normally these are mushed in. It's mushed in a little, but normally this whole side would be mush. Yeah, normally it looks like that, all down. But that's not terrible. See, somebody tried to lift it right there. All things considered, that's pretty good. You also really want to look for rust back up in this rocker. Now, I said earlier there's no rust. It looks like I might have been wrong. Here's a rust hole. You rust hole. Now, I know what you're thinking when you're from Alberta, Canada, and you're like, Charles, that's not rust. I know, but also it is, because there's a hole. The hole in the car where there was metal, now there's no metal. So this that we're seeing here is carpet padding. I'm pushing on the carpet. That's the carpet inside on the driver's side. This is probably right where the seat channel is. Most likely from a water leak is my guess. Here's our back axle. It's pretty good. Fuel filter, it's been replaced at some point in time. Our rear axle beam bushings are worn out, as you might expect. Got some Bilstein shock absorbers on it. That's cool. Our parking brake cables aren't trasho. Parking brake actually holds. That comes free. That's broke. This should be a stud just like that. Fuel lines look all right. No gushy of fuel. That's good. No hole on this side. There's more padding. This is just a body plug though. Sometimes these Mark IIIs are silly. Let's get our borescope back out and borescope some of these holes and see if we have any rust in the rockers. And we're looking for super sadness from rust. Could we have a another mostly rust-free Mark III? Normally this metal doesn't exist. Mark III. There's just nothing there. All that yellow you're seeing is Cosmoline body wax. Got some kind of clicky click happening. What else we got? Let's see. This got more drag than it should. Could be a number of things. The brakes are pretty trash. I wanted to see what it looked like spinning the wheels because the brake pedal just sinks to the floor. Oh yeah, here's the one with the bad tie rod end. Got a little wiggle, but hey, we got drilled rotors. Okay, I think we need to get this car all the way down. Let's see what's inside. The grand prize of what is inside. Also, I gotta shut this door so I don't smash it. I think this next part is where the fun is really gonna ramp up here. Look at all the things that are going on inside of this car. Right away, we have a door panel that clearly is missing the speaker grille. The previous owner converted to crank windows from power windows. You can see our power window button, and we also have crank. So they work, the windows go up and down, but that was a conversion. There's also a ton, look at all this. Look at all these screws and fuses and bolts, and there's a magnet, because look at this conglomerate right here. More of these nuts. Man, oh man, look at this jackpot of washers. But when we turn to the car, look at all this crazy stuff's going on. Now, something I noticed pretty early is that this seat is not even bolted in. So I'm gonna do two things. One, I'm gonna get rid of this seat cover here. Clearly sun faded, but I love this seat pattern. Let me know in the comments what this is called. I don't remember what this seat fabric pattern is called. Let's get this seat out of the way since it's just chilling in here anyway. That seat looks pretty decent. Oh man, we got some boards. Got some ramps. Heck yeah. This goes underneath the dash. Power window switch. We're actually missing the door panel on the driver's side. What is this? Compressor. Some .3 brake fluid. The pedal does sink to the floor if I hadn't mentioned that. Tie down strap. ABS delete. Trim panel. Let's set that up there because we might need that. We got some grills for the front. A window motor. It's missing the, well, here's the gear for it. This is for the steering column on the driver's side. Oh, here's a speaker retainer and our speaker grill, and this goes to that motor. A 196 relay off the top of my head. I'm not sure what this one's for. What is this? The Boondock Saints. Here's the trim cover for the OBD plug. I'm not sure what this is. Also, a bunch of copper and angle iron. We can get this out of the way. We're gonna be construction projecting left and right. Some fuses, a penny. Okay, I know you guys already saw these, but I was purposefully waiting. These are pretty valuable Hella headlights. So here you can see the part number right there. I actually think these headlights look super dope on this car. I'm not sure why they got swapped out, but this alone really makes the trade worth it. This is awesome, and it's got the harness for it and everything. So that barrel connector goes underneath the hood, obviously. They look like they need some attention. Like, outer ones are probably missing parts to it, but man, what a score. Do they work? Ah! Do they work? All right. Yeah. That's awesome. I had to know. I had to know if they worked. let's keep going. Got some foam, some tie downs. Heck yeah. 11,000 pound ratchet tie downs. Definitely use those. How many? We got 3 of them? All right. Module of some sort. This is a lock module for this car, maybe? Some channeling. There's a little nubber. I'm always worried to touch stuff because I never know what it is. A couple washers, bit of a screwdriver, that. Throttle body gasket, I believe. Oh, the key to my heart right here. Oh, look, I just glanced over here and noticed. If you know Mark IIIs, you know what this is. That is foam from the blend doors. Means our HVAC probably doesn't work very well. What's this? Wow, a whole box of these. What these are for? No idea. But this is probably a lot of money of bolts. So that's kind of awesome. And they're tested, tried, and true. Actually, I think this was just a strap that was cut into a Slim Jim and not the delicious treats to unlock your car kind of Slim Jim. Moving on. We got a lot of stuff piled up in this back seat here. Let's start with this box. We have our clamshell. The bottom looks broken. Let's get this where we can see. We got an aluminum thermostat housing. That's valuable. Foam for the steering column. Some wires. Some blue. What is this? An oxygen sensor. Downstream. This is brand new. Downstream O2. Look at that. All right. Oil filter. Intake gasket. Some of the covers for the front. Man, there's a bunch of stuff. This little coolant pipe. Another coolant temp sensor. Another coolant hose. Unfortunately, not the coolant hose that we need for our leaking one, but a couple of new oxygen sensors. Are these both new? This is an upstream. You can tell the connector is black, and the downstream, the connector is brown. So pre-cat, post-cat. What else do we got? Some cardboard, right? Some more screws. Looks like we've had some screw mods done, some speaker mods done. What is this? Oh, another speaker grill. What is this? Ugh. Oh, window regulators with motors. So are these the ones that came out of the car, or are these the ones that were purchased? They're in pretty good shape. So I bet these are the ones that came out of the car, which is kind of cool because that means like if we wanted to, we could go back to power windows, which I prefer. More back seat talk, someplace uncomfortable. Speaker grill. This is the lower dash trim. This is the sunroof tray, maybe? This might be the lock module, like the alarm module. Wire channels for the under the hood. A course, what's this? A bunch of hose clamps and some exhaust studs. Nice. Hey, we have a serpentine belt tensioner. So that isn't a big deal that our other one's broken. The one under the hood is broken right there. So it's nice. We got a brand spanking new one. Got a core support. Not sure why we have a core support. Perhaps it's due to those headlights, but that's cool. Clips for our coolant flange. Dare I pull the seat up? Ugh. Whoa, we got a lot of speaker wire for some boom boom. What else do we got here? Oh, we already looked at that. A mirror. How about that for a shot right there? What's this? Wheel bearing? Oh, water pump. Cool, new water pump. Man, this is I'm hyped. There's a lot of cool stuff. Check this out. An MSD ignition setup for this car. That's awesome. I wonder what this would run you. But this MSD box thing is super neat. And the seats seem to be in decent shape. Looking just around the interior, it's not bad. I'm seeing the door panel in the back, so that's good. Our headliner, floppity, to be expected. Let's go around to the driver's side and see what we got. On our driver's side, we can see the ramifications of the crank swap. So it works, which is cool, but we don't have anything else going on in our door. So this here is a whole bunch of receipts from days gone by. Probably stuff in here from a long, oh look, here we go. We have our friends at Best Buy Service installing speakers. January 26, 2001. Pretty cool. We got a stack of receipts. This is just an empty box. Here's another crank handle. Here's a crank bolt for some reason. Let's... Ugh, ew, what is that? Dare I poke? Oh, this goes through the seat. I thought it was something even worse. Thought it was something grosser. Bolster on our seat's trash. Not uncommon at all, really. But actually, the seat, like this bolster usually is trash too. It's not that bad. Don't worry about me ripping the seat cover. It was already destroyed. Our bushings for our seat. Sadness. Check it out. We got a new heater core. Comes with fuzz and everything, so that's cool. Man, this car's like 85% got everything it needs to fix. What's in this box? Is it bolts? Holy smackaronis, look at these babies. Wow, these are OF bolts. That's for only fun. That's some meaty guys right there. This box is gonna be heavy. Ugh! More foam and a whole bunch of fuses and screws and trash. Coolant bottle, that's not the right coolant bottle, I don't think. Cover, this should go right there. A lot of trash on the floor. Oh, I don't know what that is. What is this? It's like a hook to pull wheel caps, maybe? So a lot of yuckies. I thought we already had one of these. Ew. Didn't we already have one of those? Well, maybe we got two. I said I was gonna put all the screws in there, but I don't really wanna touch all this stuff. It's not that bad, I guess. Let's see if we can move this guy back. Get back there. Another module. Oh, it's a headlight switch. There's a hole in the carpet right here. I wonder where our rust hole was. Let's see if I can. Oh, it's right here. There's our rust hole. I'm poking it from under. When we look at the dash, it's not bad. See some wear on the steering wheel. What did we get at the junkyard? Blower motor, modules. What every good Volkswagen owner keeps in their car. Some super glue. What do we got up front here? Oh, is that a magnet? What is that? Oh, it's an antenna. It's an antenna thingy. A couple wheel caps. Another crank. This matches. Oh, that's probably what all those little black rings down here were for. Different inserts for the crank. CVS things and that. Broken part. What else? We got some money in here. Just reach in and grab a handful. What do we got? What do we got here? We got AC caps and that. Some bolts. Some change. There's quarters. There's big silver in here. What about our glove? Are you kidding me? Well, oh man. Well, our glove box is broken. So there's that. Sorry. Owner's book. Fuse list out. You know that someone had some blown fuses over their career of this car. What's this? Oh man. It's another valve stem cap. Still in and new in package. Mint in box. There's a crusty one. Maybe we can find the other two. That's cool. Microphone for probably this Kenwood right here. Some New Speed stickers. Oh, it's got the La Cucaracha relay, the door chime relay. We might throw that back in. Stuff, another glove, a wheel hanger bolt. That's handy. Oh, look, seat bushings. Man, there's so much in this car that it's like, it's there to be fixed. That's awesome. Something I just noticed is the factory seat pulls are no longer available, but there is some zip ties that actually worked really well. So we can pull the seats down and see what we got in the trunk. First thing, here's our driver's door panel. We have a spare wheel, non-matching, but we got a spare. Let's get this guy out. We had a Chilton's manual, but it's not long, no, it's dead. I'm nervous to open this. It looks like to-go containers. So I'm not gonna open that. Got a little pumper, probably trying to bleed the brakes. But look at factory toolkit. That's neat. I wonder if it's ever been opened. Ha, just kidding, of course it has. Can't have a Volkswagen of 25 years old without some kind of breakdown problem. Oh, it's got a scratcher. We got a scratcher. We're gonna scratcher that. Some odds and ends stuff for like putting the car back together. This is the lower trim for the where the fuses are. And a little hammer. Boop, boop. Scratch off 3 of the 9. If all 3 match, you win that prize. I won nothing. Ends 4/21/2019. Okay, we pulled a ton of stuff out of this car, and there's some really good stuff, and there's some stuff that needs attention. Has your opinion of the value of the car changed from the start of the video? Drop it down in the comments. What do you think it's worth now versus what it was worth before we started? I think there's a lot of really good stuff and a lot of things that are gonna need some attention. To get it on the road, just basic, probably spending $500 to $600 to get the coolant leak fixed and a bunch of other basic maintenance that you really want to make sure you take care of. This also begs the question, the ultimate question, what do we do with it now? Do I sell it? Do I keep it and fix it? 3.6 swap it, supercharge it? I don't know. I don't know what to do. So we're going to have to figure that out. With that, I am also out. Have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you again next time. What are you going to do with all that junk inside your trunk? I'm going to put it back. That's what I'm going to do. Because it's going to be someone else's problem.